The Bamboo Project wholesaling video starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project YouTube channel. My name is Donivan Gray.
And my name is Melissa Burnett. We currently have over 300 videos on our channel. Dr. Sebi inspired diet, travel vlogs, sports, music, clothing, podcast, beauty, and everything us. We live in New York City, and this is episode 15 of our virtual wholesaling series, where we give weekly updates on our journey to close our first deal.
We started this series for people who wanted to get into wholesaling, who don't have any mentors, who don't have any money, and want the perspective of people just starting out. Today is February 26th, and this is last week's update. So, babe, you want to go first?
Boom. So this past week, as you guys, go. Actually, I want you guys to guess what I did. You're right. I didn't do anything. Wholesaling is not my main focus. Just clothing stuff. However, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I could jump on the saddle once again. Maybe I could, just because I still remember all the things and whatnot. So why not help Donivan out? So I decided that for 2 days a week, I'm going to devote those 2 days to wholesaling real estate from 11 to 5, like we used to, together.
Yeah. For
those 2 days, I'll be finding leads. I'll probably try to find leads on my off time too. But during that time, I'll be calling agents. I'll be looking for cash buyers, and I'll be trying to get this deal done. And this is all my idea. Donivan has nothing to do. So yeah.
This is episode 15. It's not actually episode 15, episode 16. Listen, y'all know what episode it is. It says it in the thumbnail. It says episode 16 in the thumbnail. I didn't change it on the notes, but that's the episode that it is. Last week, I talked about how I had a property in the contract, and I also talked about how I had 2 other properties I was going to try and wholesale. One of them was land. Another one was a property where it was a complete shell. It was boarded up, everything else, right? All of the works down to the studs. It would be a good investment by the structure, but not by, I guess, the numbers per se. I also talked about last week how to get a property under contract without having to put up any EMD money. What I used last week was a mortgage contingency for my particular property. And how I was able to use that was I pretty much said I need to get financing from a lender. I had called a lender. They pre-approved me they sent me a POF or proof of funds for the property. I thought it was a good deal, and I'm actually going to go over the numbers for this deal because I want other people's opinions on the deal, if they would have bought it, if they think I just kind of what everybody else thinks about it too. And then after I do that, I'm actually going to go and find a property and run numbers on it because I also want to see what other people think about my method of running numbers, because obviously I haven't had a deal yet, and it's probably like this is the 4th month. This is the 16th week. This is the 4th month, and I feel like I should have had a deal by now. And I'm really close in my opinion. I just think there's a little bit of things I need to kind of fine tune. The first property was not a shell. It was a pretty normal property. It might have been a 3-1 within the basement. There was like a half bathroom, so you have to finish the basement and kind of fix that up to actually have another bathroom if they count that. But I had a contractor go look at the property. He gave me renovation of like $45,000 for it. And then I also had a cash buyer go to the property and look at it. It was an inspector. This is my first time actually having a cash buyer go to the property. I found this cash buyer because I think I talked about it last week where I had called one of the rental agents in the area, and they actually put me in touch with the acquisition manager for that particular company. So I'm thinking everything's going to be great. I'm like, okay, they got in touch with me. Everything should be good. They went to that property, and they went to a second property. The first property was pretty straightforward. They said they were like not interested that much in it before they gave me a price. And then they went to the second property, which was the shell I talked about earlier. The shell that I talked about earlier was boarded up. So that was a whole big thing to get them to get inside. Originally, they were saying that they really wanted to buy the shell property. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be a deal because it's a shell and it's off market. I had got an agent from a long time ago who I kind of talked to every once in a while to see what they have. They have this property, and I got it even lower for what they were asking for. So I'm thinking this is going to be a good deal. So I have to get them to get inside the property. I told the agent, like, hey, I have somebody who's going to go look at the property. And they said, okay, but they have to sign a waiver to go inside. So I had to coordinate a waiver to be signed through DocuSign for me and the people, the buyer and their inspector to go and get it, to go inside, right? So that was the first hurdle. Everybody signed it. Everything is good, right? Now, let's say that was a Tuesday. The day before, when I actually told them about the property, they went to the property, I guess, before I had agreed for them to go. So when they went, they couldn't get inside the property because they said that it was boarded up and the stairs was too high. The stairs were too low and they couldn't reach the nail in the board on the front of the door to get inside the property. So I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. So that's when I called the agent, and that's when she actually sent me the waiver that day. So they went again the following day. So now I'm like, you know what? As a person who's an investor, I want to solve problems. I'm like, okay, I want to make it as easy as possible for them to be able to get into the property. So I was like, okay, I have a contractor that works out there. He's kind of running around looking at properties, and he's cool about it. Like, it's not big an issue too much, but I don't want to strain that relationship by having him just doing odd random jobs. But I talked to him about it. He said that he could have somebody go open, one of his contractors or employees would go and do it. I'm like, bet. They went to the property, right? And they were able to remove the wood from the door. This is a great thing. Like, I think it's crazy because anybody that's been watching this will know that when I started from before, I didn't have any way of contacting anybody in Philadelphia. So now that I have this contact, imagine if I had the situation before and I was starting out wholesaling. They're like, hey, we want to get into the property. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really have a way for you to get inside. Now I would have lost a deal just off of that alone. So now I'm thinking, okay, I know somebody. He's a general contractor, so he has people under him who can go and get inside the property. They drive over there, take the wood off the door. The inspector is there waiting for them. Everything's going good. So the contractor calls me and goes, hey, Donivan, did you know that there's a door behind the wood? I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you can't really get inside because that door is locked. So now I'm kind of annoyed because I'm like, damn, this would have been a great deal. It's a shell. They want to do a full renovation anyway, so this would be good for them. But now the guy told me, the buyer, because he has an inspector go, he said the inspector wasn't able to get inside, and all he did was take his phone, stick it in the door, because they kind of pried it open a little bit, and put his phone inside and recorded what he could see, and then that was it. So I'm like, all right, I guess according to him, that's good enough for them, right? That's what he told me they did. So I go, okay, so what are we going to do now? He goes, yeah, I'll give you a price either today or tomorrow. So I'm waiting like 2 days. Mind you, I still have the property a different property under contract, and I was going to try and wholesale both of them to him, and now I'm kind of running out the time that I have. We finally get back on the phone, and he tells me that he does not want to do the shell property at all, right? So I ask him why. He goes, yeah, there's foundational issues. Now, from my experience with foundational issues, there's no way that you can see a foundational issue from the front door of an apartment by putting your phone inside. He said there was a hole in the ground, and I'm like, it's a shell. And if anything, the foundational issue will be in the basement, so you can't see that from putting your phone inside of the door and moving it around and say, oh yeah, it's a foundational issue. On top of the fact that I'm assuming there were no lights on inside, so you probably can't even see that well inside the property. So that was kind of annoying. What I think ended up happening actually was that because they couldn't get inside, they just gave me that as a reason to not buy the property. And I'm like, all right, I can't really knock you for that if you don't want to buy. I wish they would have said to me, like, hey, we can't look at it that well, so we don't actually want to do it. I would have preferred that, and then maybe I could have a solution for that. So they said that's a no-go. Then they told me they were really interested in the other property. I had it under contract for $95. I was wholesaling it for $99. I'm not gonna make a nice little $5,000 fee. They come back and said they want it for $75,000. And he did a thing that I normally do when I'm talking or negotiating a price, where I'll just say, oh yeah, that's way too high. That's not gonna work. We have to be somewhere at 75, right? So when he was telling me that, I felt that same energy. So I'm like, okay, he wants to negotiate the price, but $75,000 is way too low for me. He knows it's too low. And then after that, he followed up with going, yeah, you know what? I don't want to waste your time or my time, so this is not going to work. Both of those things make me believe that he was not very interested in buying a property. On top of the fact that he was the acquisition manager, so I don't even know if if he's in charge of the funds or anything like that. I started trying to talk to him and figure out, okay, why doesn't it work? What's good for you? What exactly are you looking for? Like, what's wrong with this one? And he couldn't really give me a straightforward answer as to why it didn't work. He just kept saying, you know what? I don't want to ruin the relationship between me and you. We could just find another one that works for us if we just go forward with that one. So in my head, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I don't really like that. So I asked him, I said, hey, can you send me a video of the inside of the property? Because I have two other people that I know that might want to buy the first one, the shell. And I haven't been inside it. So I'm like, we have a video that you were able to use that was sufficient enough for you to make a decision. Then can I see it? I have yet to receive that video. I asked, I think 2 or 3 times for the video. I haven't gotten it. My belief is that you can't see anything on the video. So when he shows me the video and I go, hey, how did you make a decision on this property? He gonna feel kind of silly. So he just never sent me that video. So I go, okay. So that one is dead. The 3-1, that's like 1,300 square feet. He said no because the price is too high. Now, I don't really know how he came to the price. Not saying that he's wrong on it. It just depends on what they want to do. Because I called that rental agent that was working with him because they are renting properties per bedroom for like $700 or $680, right? And I'm like, if you're doing 3-1s at $680, that's $1,800 to almost $2,000 a month, and you're only paying $99,000 for it. You put $75 into it, and you charge your net. You're still making money every single month. You're doing well on the rental side, and the appreciation is there, so you can either cash out whatever you want to do with it and go forward buy another property, or buy and hold, however they want to do it. That's what my mindset was. But like I said, we didn't really have much of a conversation about their methodology behind buying property. So that was kind of an issue. And then he was saying that they really want to do a lot of high-end stuff. And like I said earlier, I'm going to show the property here and go through the numbers real quick on that one and see what you guys think and how I got to my number on it. The next part of that is getting out of the contract, because that was a big issue. Now, I had talked about buying it myself, and that was not going to be our first plan. Our first plan was to wholesale it. But then we kind of thought about like, hey, you know what? Maybe we should buy it because the hard money guy said he'll give us the money for it. So we were kind of just like, okay. The only issue is that he said we would need $20,000 to buy the property, right? So I'm like, damn, $20K to buy the property. We don't have $20K to buy it. So we were going to try and use a private money lender, and shout out to Frederick. He said he had somebody for us. So we were thinking about using that. But we were like, are we overextending ourselves to buy a property that we have no business buying, in a sense of we were not prepared or ready to do this? Because what I learned through this process is there are a lot of fees when it comes to getting a hard money loan. I guess I'll put that on the screen too. It's a whole bunch of different things that they want you to pay for. You got to pay for like the appraisal. You have to pay like a deposit. You got to pay $500 for application fee. You have to pay for processing. You have to pay a percentage. Another thing too, on top of all of those things, we did not account for the holding costs of this property, because even if we got the property even if we decide to buy it, how are we going to pay each month for whatever utilities need to be on, or whatever the loan amount will be every month? We don't have the money to pay for that. So after putting those things together, we're like, you know what? It's probably not the best idea right now to buy this property. So we decided, you know what? Let's let it go. That's when it became for me to try and now get out of the contract, right? I tried to use a mortgage contingency on the property to get out, and the guy was telling me like I couldn't do that because it was an all cash deal. And I'm like, nah, it says mortgage contingency on there. So we were going back and forth about that. And then he said, okay, I'm gonna need for you. What I told him was that I was not approved for the loan because I didn't meet the qualifications for the lender. What I meant by that was I didn't have the $20,000 that the lender told me I needed to buy the property. The lender didn't actually deny me for the loan, but I know I did not have what I needed for the loan. On top of the fact that at the time, my credit score was under 600. I thought it was above 600. They needed 600 credit score, $20,000, and a bunch of fee prices or costs I didn't have. So I'm like, you know what? I can't afford that. So I'm just going to be like, nah, I can't do it. So I told that to the agent. So he told me that I need to actually go and get a denial letter from the lender. So I write the lender. The lender's like, well, we can't give you a denial letter. Well, we don't do denial letters, one, he said. And then two, he also followed up by saying, we didn't decline you or deny you for the loan. So, we can't really help you out there. So I'm like, bruh. Now the agent keeps texting me and trying to figure out if I can give him a denial letter. He's telling me that he can't, his company needs a denial letter. And I'm just like, the property, mind you, is already back on the market. So at this point, I'm like, obviously you don't need it, because if you needed it, you couldn't put it back on the market, because technically it would still be I would still have equitable interest in the property, and you can't just decide to go sell to somebody else. But I think that he's just trying to pressure me into giving him a reason for that. And I would have given him that if the hard money lender gave it to me. He didn't give that to me. So I told him what the hard money lender told me, and he said that he would like to talk to the hard money lender. So now I haven't responded yet, but I'll have to send him the contact information to see how that goes. So, this is an interesting ride that we're on right now. That pretty much is what happened with that deal. As far as me getting it, I let it go, and we're back on it again. So I said we're gonna keep going, and it's just. This is what wholesaling really is, I think. I feel like my experience, people I talk to on a regular basis about wholesaling, is more so what I'm going through as opposed to what people see on YouTube. Like, I feel like on YouTube, I don't see my experience on YouTube that much. And I feel like when I talk to people, that's the experience that I get. It's my experience, not what everybody else has on YouTube. So I don't know where the disconnect is. If maybe everybody that's not getting deals doesn't know something that people who are getting deals. I don't know, people who are getting deals not saying something about how they're getting deals to us. I don't know where that miscommunication is. So I'm trying to figure that out.
I was thinking about how the other wholesale channels that we've come across get their deals. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of them either had a designated person that they would sell their deals to, mm-hmm. or they would have a mentor that helped them with their resources and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But they all kind of peddle the same message, which is that anybody can do it. Mm-hmm. So I guess right now this time is just building up those resources that they started with. And
one thing that somebody had asked me recently on one of the episode 5 of Jerry of the series, they had asked me, do I work with an agent? And I don't work with an agent, but I think Lili does work with has an agent who kind of writes her contracts for her and things like that. So I definitely think there's a benefit to having that too. I personally just don't have one, but it would be a lot easier to have an agent negotiate on my behalf. To then they write the contract up, they write deals up for me, they send them to me and things like that. So I'm kind of thinking about doing that. I just have to find an agent that would be willing to do it. And kind of open to that idea. I'm gonna keep my eye out for that. I would prefer it to be somebody younger who's not older and not confused about what it is, because they're gonna tell me that you can't do that. But I'm also trying to expand a little bit into Atlanta more, so I'm gonna do more of Atlanta, some more Philadelphia. The other thing too that I've actually asked Melissa to help me with is to kind of keep me, centered on what a deal is, because you'll even see this in a lot of people's videos. Even Jerry will do it. I've seen Lili do it. I don't know if Biz does. I haven't really seen a lot of his videos that much. But they start leaning oh, well, you could kind of it could be a deal if you do this. And then if you if you kind of look at it from here, it could be a deal. But then kind of over, if you reduce the renovation by this much, and then you find a buyer that wants to pay that much, but then you don't want to flip it for 3 months.
There's been times where Donivan will be like, "What do you think about this?" And he'll look me in my face and be like, "Yeah, this is not a good deal. If I change the renovation to $10,000 though, it'll work, right? It'll work." And I'm like, "No, it's not gonna work."
And that exactly. So now I'm like, you know what? Because she's not invested in it, she will have more of a objective perspective on it. Okay, I don't think it's a good deal because this, that, and that. The number, if you have to change the number too many times, if you're trying to make this property fit into a deal, then that's a problem, as opposed to having a deal that this property fits for.
I think my favorite one is the but if we find someone that'll be interested, it's a deal for someone,
right?
And it's yeah, sure, bro, you gonna find that someone,
right?
Not
Exactly. That's exactly. It's it's a deal for somebody, but I don't know that person, and I don't know how to find that person. But it is a deal for somebody. I gotta find them. So, and one more thing too about that before I actually get into looking at the numbers. Somebody wrote in one of the comments recently about reverse wholesaling, which I think is a funny term. Did you see that?
I did see that. I don't know what it is,
though. So it's just really funny because I didn't know this was a term.
Is that looking for cash buyers first?
Yes.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
And I thought that was hilarious. So reverse wholesaling is actually looking for cash buyers first and then finding deals for them, which in my opinion is the way to go. I think wholesaling should be that, as opposed to, I don't know why that's reverse. I don't know how they came up with that. Because finding a deal, I say this all the time, A deal for one person is not a deal for everybody. So just because you have a deal that works does not mean that everybody will buy it. So there's that. Unless, and even then I can't say that, but I was going to say unless the property is $10,000 and the ARV on the property is $200 million, I think anybody will find a way to buy the property. I think that would be a good deal for everybody, unless you don't have $10,000. So, it's out there if you want to find those kind of numbers, but I think it's highly unlikely. First, I'm going to look at the property in the contract. I'm going to show it, run the numbers on it, and then I'm going to just randomly look in Atlanta and then Philadelphia and show you how I run my numbers on those two properties.
That's 3 properties.
It's kind of like 2.
3 is kind of like 2.
Because here's the thing. Here's why. The first one's already pretty much done. I'm going to go over it. The other one I'm going to find. And I was thinking about doing it like a quick one and then the other one kind of being more detailed.
I feel like you should do that on your own time.
You got a little thing right there. Let me just...
No, don't do that. He was watching somebody on YouTube and he was like... And then it was like...
Let me just...
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
But it's still on your cheek.
You're going to touch my cornea.
It's right there.
It's okay.
It's right. It's still... You didn't get it yet. No,
I got it.
Now you moved it to your... Right here.
I got it.
Let me see.
I got it.
Yeah, it's going. Yes. You should let me just get it with my saliva. All right, here we go. You see the property is right here. Right on the corner, right? So as you see, there's properties in the area. You got 89, 44, 75, 45, whatever. You got one over here for 190. I'm click on that. That's a 3-2. Is it pending? It's been on the market for 1 day. It's 190,000. Yeah, so it's a 3-2, 1,300 square feet. It's on the market for 190, right? You have one down here for 325. This is pending. So mine is 1,300 square feet. So what I'm going to do is I am going to change my filter on Zillow. I prefer Zillow because I think it's user friendly. I've been told by many agents and mostly agents that Realtor.com is better for, I guess, finding comps and for being just more accurate because it updated quicker. I think people get their stuff from Realtor. Like Zillow goes from Realtor and then everybody else gets their information from Realtor. So this is 1,300 square feet. Now, I normally like to use Jerry's formula in the sense of he will do like 200 and he'll do like 300 square feet up and 300 square feet down. So this property is 1,300 square feet. So I will put my square footage at 1,000 and 1,750 because I can't go higher than, I can't go to 1,600. So now I'm going to do sold or put in the last 12 months. This is still on for sale, recently sold. All right, so right here we have a property for 158,000 that sold. It's 1,526 square feet. Okay, so now we're gonna come over here to my dealinator. Here's my first thing. I have this property, which is the same one, 2265 Van Pelt Street. This one sold for 158,000. Honestly, this is not even a. This is a. So yeah, this is the first one of my comps.
Okay.
Okay.
What's your property?
What is it?
Yeah, it's a 3-2.
My property is a 3-1. This is a 4-2.
Okay. So, and this is a sold comp? This is a flip.
So, now that I'm looking at these, I'm kind of questioning how I got to these numbers. But I'm gonna keep going through it, and then we're gonna see what happens. But yes, this is. Let me see. Maybe they fixed it up. Let me check Realtor because Realtor has updated pictures also. So I'm pretty sure what I did with that one was I figured because it was somebody bought it as an investment. That's probably why it went for that price. Oh no, here it is. This is it fixed up.
Okay. Classic looking, I guess.
Yeah.
Definitely don't look like the first one.
Right. Exactly. It's a little flip, carpet paint, maybe, a little bit of whatever this is on the floor. Yeah, I don't know why anybody put that on the floor, but that's what they did. And they sold it for $158. And it's a 4.2, right? So I use it as a comp.
And what's the square footage for yours?
Mine is 1371. Okay.
And it has 2.5 baths?
Yes. Yes. Okay. All right, we're gonna keep running these numbers because this looks really questionable. Not gonna lie. See, I got a text about York Street from a contractor because he was gonna do the work on it, but now he's not because I had out the deal. So now I gotta deal with that. So that's the first one that I had. The second property that I had was this one. This is my second comp. It's 184, right? And it is a 3-1, 1,044 square feet. Now, I'm still to find some pictures for this one.
And then how far are these from the property?
This one, the first one I showed is down the block.
Yeah. Okay.
It's down the block. And then this other one, I'll show it on Google Maps. This is over here. This is the distance. It's 0.2 miles, 5-minute walk. Right? And that property sold for $184. Okay? So now I'm going to see if I can find a picture on Zillow on Realtor of the inside of that property. No inside pictures. So I probably assume this was a flip. It says, yeah, it's a multifamily also. I guess I assume this one was a flip. See, and this is what I be talking about. This is what happens, I think, when I start wholesaling for too long and I'm like, I want to get a deal. And I just kind of put something together. That's what seems like it's happening here. However, yeah, that's what seems like it's happening here so far.
This one was cozy.
Right? Exactly. That's why I have my beautiful, phenomenal girlfriend. Now, this is my third property that I had as a comp. It's a pending comp, which, again, is me reaching. I'm doing a lot of reaching here. Clearly, that's what I'm doing, which makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. This one is still pending.
You grasping for straws?
Grasping for straws. Facts. This is a 3-2 right here, okay? This is the inside of it. It's pending at 178.5. Okay, very nice. 3-2, 1,400 square feet. So, as I said, this was my thing in last episode that I said was this is not for a flip. However, I talked to one of my friends and they said that you should always find properties that are good for flips. Even it should be number-wise good for flips, even though it's gonna be a rental, right? Now I'm gonna do the rental market area. Okay. Shout out to somebody who commented and they had said that to look on section8.com and what's the other one?
I think it was just section8.com.
Okay, at least a rental meter. But those two places help you to get more rental rates in that area. So my property is right here on York Street in this little corner right over here. And these two properties up the block, right? Look at this, $720 a month for rent.
That's a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom.
1 bedroom, 1 bathroom.
1,100 square feet.
1,100 square feet, right? This one, another one. Same thing, $700. So I'm like, okay, I need to call these people and figure out if they want to buy a property right around the corner from theirs, right? So that's what I tried to do. That's what I ended up reaching out to, and that's how I found the person that was a cash buyer who is the acquisition manager for these two people. So that's what my numbers were looking at. I estimated the ARV at 175 in that area for the property, and I had said maybe about $50,000 renovation. As you can see on here, I have my ARV at 200 on here. I'm gonna put it at 175. Nice. Another property up here pending at 175. That's the same one from before. And this one is pending at 78,000. So yeah. Like I said, it seems as I can see why this was not a good deal. Mind you, I had it at 99, and I was thinking about having. Oh, let me see what other rental rates in this area. So I was thinking that we could probably get maybe $1,300 in rent, maybe a little bit higher. This is a 2-bath, 1-bed duplex. $1,100 for the rent. Yeah, so that was that. So, like I said, going back over it, I can see maybe how it's not the best deal. Like, it's not a home run deal. I think for somebody who's new at investing, this would be good for them to just kind of make a couple dollars a month. What would you put the numbers at for this from what you've seen?
And what do you mean?
Like, what would the specs be for this property? What do you think the ARV is? What do you think the rent would be from what we just went over? What would you say it is?
I think the ARV is probably like 150.
Okay, so ARV you say it's 150.
Yeah, like 160.
Okay, so I'm gonna put 155 in the middle. Renovation.
How much is it to put in a bathroom?
Probably like $4,000 to $7,000.
Okay. How big is it?
1371. So basically 1,400 square feet.
Probably say 40.
40,000 renovation. Okay.
What do you have?
I have mine at 75. So with a $40,000 renovation, that means that this property would have to be bought at 70% rule would be 77,000, and you would net 26,000 if you see it right here. I had it under contract for 95, and I was wholesaling for 99. So I was over here, and that's with a $40,000 renovation. Yeah. So everybody was saying they have to be around here. I had mine all the way up here. This is 80% rule that I set up. This is a, I guess you could call it like a formula sheet that I built to kind of run my numbers on. And this is 70%.
How did you come up with 75K for renovation?
Because I figured it needed a fully new everything because how they do the other property.
Oh.
So I just figured I'd put 75 as the highest I see. Like if you want to do in Philadelphia, what I've noticed about 75,000 is the full amount for a property this big. And if you look over here where I have renovation, I have that 82 is heavy. So I went down a little bit just because I don't think it's not dilapidated. It just needs work. And if you want to put a lot of nice finishes on it, like add another bathroom or things like that. And honestly, there's a weird setup. I'm going to show you guys right here. If you look, I don't know if you can see it here in the front of the house. See, yeah, if you look right here to the left, if you on the right there are stairs. Right to the left of those stairs, there's like a little ledge that you can see. It's like a mirror right here. It's like a mirror. And then right above these, because I actually had my cousin go to the property, right above this ledge, if you put your hand up, you can touch the stairs. So there are stairs right above this area. So it's like a triangle here. It's not like you could just step over this and you're good. You have to step, duck, and then walk into the kitchen. So I say that to say it's a weird layout. So you would, and then you might have to also finish the basement. That's why I put 75,000 as renovation. And with 75,000 renovation, this property would have to be bought at, it would have to be bought at $42,000. So those are the numbers for this property.
Yeah, the reason why I said 40 is because I was looking at it to be a rental, not a full flip.
Mm-hmm. And actually, the quote that I got was about 45 for this property that I got from the contractor that I know in Philadelphia. Melissa and I decided that we're going to split the difference on the properties. I'll do one. I'll look up one and run my numbers, and you'll see how I do it, and then you'll see how Melissa does hers. So I'm going to do mine in Atlanta. And do you care?
Why you want to do yours in Atlanta?
I'll do mine in Philadelphia, and she'll do hers in Atlanta.
Listen. I'm well versed. I could do it in Philadelphia.
So all right. So I'll do Atlanta, and she'll do Philadelphia. So
I want to do it first.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the filter. I like to look for recently sold. I personally like looking at properties that's between 400,000 and 200,000. I feel like that's the easiest. Let me put 250. 250 to 400,000, and the reason why I do that is because it makes it easier for me to find. That's the value of the houses that I'm looking for. So I will see like where the little pockets are that have that price range. So you can see that there's a whole bunch in this area. So I'm just gonna draw a circle in this area here, and I'm gonna use this as my stomping grounds. Now I'm going to go back to my filter because it's for sold, and I'm going to go to for sale, and I'm only really going to look probably up to 250, and then see what comes up for the same parameters that I have set. Snap. I don't really want condos, multifamilies, lots of lands. Don't want those. Don't want apartments. And then I should have did the lot size and everything.
Are you doing square feet? Because mine is still there.
Yeah, that's fine. I think that works. That works. In Georgia, I worry about the lot size because since there's more space, they be having ridiculous acreages with their properties. But because we're in Philadelphia, I don't really have to worry about that as much. As you can see. Oh, and then now I like to sort from low to high. So first property we have here is a 3-2. Okay. The outside doesn't look terrible. It has siding, while I guess the house next door has brick, which is interesting. Okay. Inside already looks like, it needs to be updated, definitely. There's a washer dryer thing in the kitchen.
Sheesh.
Yeah, bathroom definitely needs to be redone. I can't tell if that's a high high ceiling or not. But this needs to be redone. So a lot of stuff in the house. Well, is the ceiling dropping? What is that?
I think that's the basement.
Is that normal?
I would say it's not normal. I think they put that there so you can sleep in the basement. So they covered like the pipes and stuff with
okay. That's interesting.
That's what I'm thinking that is.
Yeah. Okay. They probably Airbnb it out or something. That looks crazy. Alright, so this is not a bad looking property. Not bad looking at all. So it says right now that is going for 15 something. What? So what? Sorry, 150. 160. Let's say that.
Okay.
Let's go for 160.
All right. So this is how you would use the dealinator.
So I'm gonna copy the address. Gonna paste it here. Boom. Efficiency. iPad. But I'm gonna just put in everything else myself. Square feet. 1024. We got 3 beds, 2 baths. And whenever I do stuff with 2 baths, whenever I look for comps, I'm gonna show you later, I tend to look for 1.5 and up, because sometimes it's 1.5, but they say it's 2, and vice versa. So I don't really get too hung up on that. So this property is being sold for $155 per square foot. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go to PropStream to find my comps. So I'm gonna go. Ooh. Oh yeah, how long has this been on the market? It's been on the market for 209 days. So that lets me know that they probably want to sell and it's overpriced. It says great property for any investor or home buyer looking for their first home. It is currently rented with a long-term tenant. So when I call them, I would ask them how long is their lease, when is it up, and so on and so forth. Because you could probably just continue to collect rent, and then either you can continue to collect rent until their lease is up, and then kick them out when their lease is up. Or you can pay them and incentivize them to leave earlier for breaking their lease. So this is a 1.5 bath, not a 2 bath, like I figured. And it says it has 100 comps. So when I go on PropStream, I put in the same bedrooms. So this is 3. So I put in my 3 bedrooms, and then I put 1.5 bathrooms to 2 bathrooms max. And I leave it for the 0.5 distance, like it says. Okay, and we got some interesting looking numbers here. We got 225 for a row house. This is a row house as well. We got 250, 240, 232, 279. Now, and these are all within 0.1 miles of this property. Next thing that you're supposed to look at, I hate looking at this, but seeing if it's siding versus brick and all that stuff. But it is important because it's a pain in the ass when you try to check the value of the property. So that one has brick. This next one is also brick. I think I'm hungry.
Sheesh.
I didn't eat all day. This last one is also brick. So we can already knock down maybe like 10, 15, maybe 20K off of the ARV price in comparison to these, because they are all brick and mine is not. But I'm still going to use them as comps because they look like good comps to me. First property is 225,000, and it is how many? 1,040 square feet. So what this section here does is that it brings up the price per square foot for each property. The second one is 250.
Okay, it's working.
It's too late now.
Oh, okay.
This is 1120 for the square footage. Next one is, I'm probably gonna do 3, and then I'm gonna take one lower one. So I did 2 high ones, so 225, 250. I'm gonna do 4. So probably next one is 240. Cause I don't want to put only the high ones that I see. 240, and this is 1120 again in the square footage. And the last one is, there's one here for they bought that for cash. There's one here for 200 basically, 195. I'm gonna look at the pictures and see if it's renovated, and if it is renovated, I will use it as a comp.
Like a finished basement. Yeah, it looks like a finished basement, but
yeah.
That bathroom, I don't know if that's renovated or not.
This one looks.
It's weird.
I don't think it's a brand new renovation. It looks like it would be a rental. Like someone fixed it up enough for someone to rent it out. So I will use this as a comp. Which one is that? It was 195. Like I said, I want to be as realistic with myself as possible, so I don't get too excited, I guess. And this one is 1060. So what I do now, I'm gonna take all these price per square feet. So we got 216, 223, 214, and 184. And now our ARV square per footage is 209.25. So we're gonna drop that in there. Our wholesale fee I'm put for 5,000 for now. The ARV right now is looking like 214. It says no deal because it's not 80% of the price. But it's close to being 70. So that's not bad. It's 69%. The original price per square foot is 155. Don't know. Let me see. Let me look at this. I didn't come up with a renovation cost. It looks like it has good bones. It just looks ugly. It needs to be repainted. The kitchen needs to definitely be updated. So like new countertops, new appliances. Probably needs to just be cleaned up and repainted, honestly. Same thing with the bedroom. Like nothing looks like the bathroom looks kind of wild. Like it looks like it was the exposed drywall or something like that. I don't know what that is. I'm just making up words. But the bathroom definitely 100% needs to be completely updated. Everything else just looks cluttered, but I mean the ceiling panels, but that's easy to do. And the fact that the basement is finished is good. So, and that bathroom needs to be redone down there. How much is this again, square feet? I think this is 1,300. No, it's not. It's actually kind of small.
How big is it?
It's 1,000, but I don't think they are counting the basement as living space. So that's still a good size. That means the basement is probably 300 square feet. So this is total is probably 13. But don't think about it like that. Never mind. It's 1,000 square feet of living space. So I'm gonna say that it's probably gonna need like, it's me being heavy. For me being heavy, it's probably 50.
50,000.
Yeah.
For
renovation. I think that's heavy.
Yeah, I would think that. Yeah, I was gonna say like 40, 45. So I can see 50 if you want to really do a whole new house.
Because if you just wanted, if you could put 15, 20 into this and rent it out, and it'll be fine.
Well, what's the rent in the area?
We don't know that. We don't know that yet. Some put 50 in there. So it made it worse. So it's 60% a deal. But let's see what we'd have to get it for. I'd have to get it for 19. No. The lowest I could get it for is 94, which is like 60,000 underneath what they're selling it for. The highest I can get it for is 120. So
I get 120.
Yeah, 116. I mean, the highest I can get it for is 116, and I think that includes the wholesale fee, right? Mm-hmm. That those numbers include a wholesale fee of $5,000. Now, if I wanted to give this to someone as a rental opportunity, I'd probably estimate the renovation for $30,000. And the average I could go for is 125. Lowest is 114. Highest is 136. I think 125 is not bad at all. I think 114 isn't that bad. So I'd be more comfortable attacking this property as a rental for somebody else, just because I don't think it's been on the market for 209 days. Honestly, I would if I get on the phone with them. Like today, if I were to get on the phone with them, I would start off with these original numbers, with the 94,000, see how they respond to that, and then go from there. If they're not responding well to those numbers, then I would switch over to looking at this as a rental opportunity as opposed to a fix and flip. And that's how I do my numbers. Am I missing anything? In order to see how much you should pay, more or less, for your rental property, how much income you should bring in for a rental, you would have to do 1% of your acquisition and your rehab. Your acquisition plus your rehab.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
It's at the bottom.
Is at the bottom? Oh, see, that's why he said it's updated. Mine don't have this. So acquisition cost, the lowest would be $149. The highest would be $171. So for rent in the area, it would need to be $1,400, $1,500, $1,600. My property is this property right here. What I'm going to do now is I am going back to my filter, and I'm going to do for rent. And right now, I'm going to put it up to like 2,000 because that's obviously the highest. Okay, this area supports the rent I'm looking for. We got 1.7, 1.7, 1.4, 1.5, and they're supposed to more or less have the same. So this is a 3 and a 1.5. This is what we have, and it has about the same square footage. I think ours is a 1020. Yeah, ours is 1024. Theirs is 1068, and it's a nice looking place though for 1,700. So we probably would have to do more in renovation to get this. But with my numbers here, the renovation cost would be $50,000, and that's to make it look brand new. So it would support this number. This one is 1.4, and this is still very nice looking, very clean looking. This one has a lot more square footage than ours, but I feel like they're counting the basement as square footage as well. But I think they're counting the basement. But yeah, so this area looks like it supports it because my property is somewhere in the middle over here, and that's what I would look for my property. Okay. So I think you should call me.
Okay. So I will call them.
You can double check my numbers.
Not on here. I'm not gonna call them, but I will call them.
Your turn?
Yeah, my turn.
Ooh, that felt good. I haven't analyzed some numbers in a minute.
So I'm gonna do Atlanta for mine. If you guys want to use a Dealinator, I'll give it to you for free. I don't charge it. You can just have it. And PropStream, I'm gonna show you guys right here on PropStream. It says that I can add a team member for PropStream. So as a team member, you only would have to pay. Oh, where'd it go? Hold on. What the fuck? Yeah, as a team member, you only have to pay $20 on PropStream. So if I add as a team member, it says right here, $20 per month. So if you don't want to pay $99 and you only want to pay $20, just comment or DM me or something, and I can just add you, and you only pay $20 a month instead of $99. And if you like the Dealinator, I can just send that to you, and you can have your own and use it whenever you want to use it. All right, boom. So we're gonna start in Atlanta. All right, we're gonna go to for sale. I'll start with this first. Where is it? I'll start with days on Zillow. I go with 1 day on Zillow. And then I have a list of keywords I put on the screen. I'll put for this one, I'll put cash. And then apply. It's not applying. Okay, nothing came up for that one. I'm gonna put 7 days. All right, we have 3. Okay. So let's see this one. This one needs to be updated. Doesn't need a lot of work. This one. See, this one would be a good one right here. This one is something I'm gonna look at right now. I just want to check the third one, and this is the third one. There's no pictures, so I'm gonna choose this one right here, 1396 Beatty Avenue Street. So what I'll do is I take that, I copy the address, I go to my dealinator, duplicate it, put it up here.
Yeah, I kind of want salmon and mashed potatoes again. Shit was slapping.
It's 1,209 square feet, and it's 225. And it's a 3-2, which are usually better properties for investments. I add the listing agent's name up here. Their name is Jennifer Butler. And then I would have to go on Zillow or go up online and find what her actual phone number is. But it says, need a fixer-upper, you say, amazing equity potential. So, you know, hey, near a belt line. All right, so I got that. Now, this area right here, if you want to, you can fill it out. I only like to fill this out if I know it's probably a really good deal. Other than that, like you saw Melissa do, I'll just kind of leave all of that stuff blank until I'm like, okay, let's really laser down on these numbers and things like that. So let's see, it's 20. Let's see what we'll do here. So now I'll go to recent. Do I have the square footage on here? No, I don't. Okay. I go to recently sold. I put the last 12 months. I will take off the cash filter that I had, that word, put enter. Have 161 results right in this area. Okay. So my property is 1,200 square feet. So what I'll do is I will look for properties that, like I said, are 300 above and 300 below. So that will put me at, I'm gonna just say I'll put 750 just to get to 900, and then I'll put the highest will be 1,500 square feet. All right. So my property is in this area, this general area. So the first property I see on here is 361. This is 1,400 square feet. I'm pretty sure it's renovated, but I can't see because there's no picture. So I'm gonna skip that one. Wait, let me see what it says here. Oh, it says newly renovated. Okay, so
Beltline living. And if you guys don't know, the Beltline is something that's very important in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
People really want to be close to it. I don't remember if it's either. I feel like somebody once told me it was a trail, but I don't think that's what it is. I think that's like the highway that's like that takes you to everything else.
Right. That's what it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. So if you're investing in Atlanta, I mean, people who are investing in Atlanta might know what it is. I'm like, cause I feel like that's very important to know if somebody's going to invest over there. You got 361. So I'm going to take this one, copy it, put it to my dealinator. I normally will do the quick analysis that Melissa did earlier. But for whatever reason, more recently, I've been adding them here. So when I go back to them in the future, I can run numbers a lot quicker. So this is sold. It's sold for 361. It's a 1,241 square feet, and it's a 3-2. And this sold, what is this, 9/03/20, so a couple months ago. This is 151. Does it say renovated in the description? I scroll down. I don't know what this means. It says we have a high selection of higher quality, newly refurbished homes for rent throughout Metro Atlanta. I don't know what that means. I don't know if this is actually renovated or not. But it was built 2006, so I'm not going to use that as a comp.
So those are weird too, because people can get, depending on how they renovate it, they can get it updated in the city that it's a new construction or it's a new build, even though they just renovated it.
Where do you say that?
Jerry did that.
But his was a stud. He like, yeah, if you do the whole, like if you knock it down, not knock it down, but if you remove everything out the house, then yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like, if you were to do that, he said you can do it. You can make a new construction. But me, for this purpose, I don't use new construction. I normally don't use new construction for comps because what I've learned is that they are built differently than the houses that are built in 1915. So people who are selling the houses and people who are buying the houses are looking at different types of, or different characteristics of the house. Like the size of the bedrooms might have to be different. Maybe the placement of the house has to be different, where it's facing, how many windows, where the windows are at, maybe the piping, and all those kind of things are updated in newer built houses. So for me personally, I don't use those as comps. So right now I'm gonna stay in this general area. I have one over for 380. This is a 2-1. There's no pictures. This one is okay. This is sold for 285, and this is not updated. It's not updated at all. It's a nice looking house, but not updated. Okay, so we got 325 over here. No pictures. Let's see, updated in the description. Oh, it says renovation in the, okay. It says don't miss this incredible renovation. Okay, so I'm gonna take this one also. All right, so I have 2 properties right now. This one has no pictures, right? Oh, this is, yeah, no pictures. Yeah, so I'm gonna look over here. This one's 245. Do they have any renovations? Okay, it says completely renovated bungalow. All right. So this is the 3rd one that I have, and let's see, 265. That does not look renovated. I don't even know. This $2 million house, somebody's probably laundering money, so I don't even look at that. This is 170. This obviously needs to be renovated, or I think it's renovation. Somebody could live here, but this is 235. Is this renovated? This looks like it.
It looks like it was renovated to be a rental, maybe.
Yeah, these pictures are terrible.
Whoever lived there kept it in good condition.
Yeah, this house needs to be renovated. It wasn't renovated. So I'm not going to use that one. Then you have this one, which is clearly a nice house. So it was custom built. Yeah, that's not restored with love. And this is the last one. I wouldn't say it's the last one, but does not say renovated at all. So I'm assuming, and by the price, I'm assuming it's not renovated. So normally what I like to do is, this is probably not renovated. Yeah, this one has been completely updated. So see, this is a very poor rental or rehab, but according to, I mean, it's a 2-1. So let me see. Would you add this on your list?
2-1, no.
Okay.
To a 432, no.
Okay. This one sold for 160. You guys see this? This sold for $160,000. It's to the Studs house. So that tells me that I should probably be somewhere in that area for a property like the one I'm looking at. So now that I have these comps, I go down here and I see what the average is. So like I said, if I had all 6, then I could go and it will come up right here. Let's see if I can find some more just to fill it out. Sheesh, there's a lot more. What's this one? 150. I don't. That's disgusting. This is probably,
I think you need a low one.
Yeah, I'm looking for.
Go to that one that looked like it could be a rental.
Oh, this one is renovated. This one says freshly renovated. So this one is 2. No, so this one is 250. It's another 2-1. So I'm not gonna use that one. Oh, so I'm gonna do what Melissa did. I don't normally do this for comp. So this says 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms.
1.5.
What's 1.5?
You should do 1.5.
Oh, okay. All right, so we got this one over here. It says 223. Okay. So you know what I'm saying? Something like that, I never use stuff like that. So that's why I think it's cool to watch you do yours. This is 223. And I'm going to try and find one more so I can fill up the sheet. This one's 187. That is not a renovation. That looks terrible. Fixer-upper. 187 fixer-upper. This one is a 3-2, 1,000 square feet. Sold for a crazy amount of money. Cookie cutter renovation. Oh, if you are not seeking a cookie cutter renovation and want an actual period details with contemporary fixtures and finishes, this is the last house. All right, so this is what we got. So I filled everything out, and we're gonna go to the bottom, and we're gonna see it says the ARV would be $254 per square foot. So I'll take that and put that over here. I will also take the average. This is something new I've been doing. I'll take the average price of all the houses, and it's $319, right? So I'll take that $319,667. Put it up here, $319,667, and over here $254 is the price per square foot. So I'll put that over here, and so right here I kind of would split the difference between these two. So I'm gonna say $315 to $311, somewhere in that range. Would be the price for the house. So I'm gonna go with, I'll go with 307. I mean, I'm gonna go with, let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 307. So now, 225 is this house price, right? Renovation. I think this is an average rehab from just by looking at it. Maybe can redo the floors, new kitchen. The walls seem fine. New bathroom. If you really want to update, you have money to do it, I guess. Just another bathroom. They don't really need that much work. Just average rehab, in my opinion. Very average rehab.
And then updating the curb appeal, so it's like repainting the front.
Let me see how the front looks. Yeah, all right. You can do some exterior work too. That's also important. I would remove whatever this is right here. I would take that off, or maybe repaint it. Do some landscaping. What do you mean? Oh, the gating and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not white. It's like.
Oh, down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So exterior work also. So like you said, curb appeal. So I honestly would put this at like, I'm gonna say 50,000.
I was thinking the same.
So 50,000 for this to get it to be like the other houses, very new cabinets, new bathrooms. Honestly, I don't even think it has to be 50. I think I could probably do 40 with this, because you're not really doing much for this house. You're doing the bathrooms, you're doing the kitchen, you're doing the exterior, and maybe the flooring and paint. So I'm gonna say 45, right in the middle. And if you look over here at the renovation, 42 is what it says for average, but I'm gonna go with 45. So yeah. Oh, this is how this works up here too. If it's 80% a deal, then it would say deal. Obviously, this number says 80%. That means that the purchase price is 80% of what I need to buy it at. Yeah. So, and I didn't use PropStream for this. Normally I would use PropStream, but I didn't have to use it because there's a lot of comps here. So I'll have to get the price at 162. It's currently listed at 225. That's 70%. The highest I think I would probably go is like 175, 180. I'm gonna put this at 5,000, my wholesale fee. So I would say between 164 and 180 for me to buy this house, and it is currently listed at 225. So, and I'm just gonna show you how the 80% would work. So if this property, if I had spent, let me see, 30,000 on renovation, then it would be a deal. So that means I would get the property at
Put it at like 20.
179. At what?
At like 29 or something.
Yeah, this is how it will look as a deal. That means that this price here is 80% of this price up here. Mm-hmm. So that's how that delineated part works. And then once you start calling people, you can come over to here, and you could kind of like, put, I usually put the date. What's today's date?
Today is
February
25th.
And then I'm like, okay, hey, I edited it today. Oh, no, I added it today, actually. Added it today. That's how that would work. So I'll get on the phone, call them, try and submit an offer at 164 to 180, and then, go from there and see what happens.
I want to check out the rents too.
Yeah, so let's see what the rent is in this area. I feel like it's not really a rental area. But, hey, why not?
And then that notes section that Donivan just showed, I think that's really cool, because a big part of wholesaling is following up.
Yeah, and another thing I have on here too, before I show you the rent area, I have this customer relations management. I want to say that's what it's called, but this is what I have here, and it helps me to remember everybody's like name, how much I offered the first time, what's the status of the property. And then I kind of go, okay, I called that person before, they were a hassle to deal with, I don't like dealing with them, or they were really helpful, or the property's not on market anymore, things like that. The price I want to get it at, the price is currently at, and every time they change, I can go in here and update it. So like I said, for me, it's very helpful, keeps everything in place. And then I have this over here, which is color coded. So like, Orange is pending, and then red is active. Blue is off market. Yellow is I need to follow up. Purple is action. I need to do something like either submit an offer or look for a response or do something. I need some action. And black is anything that was sold. So as I said before on the episodes, once I go and look at the properties that is sold, I can say, oh, this property sold, like this one right here, right? This one sold 125 was the price. It sold for 93. So now I know, oh shit, no, the sold price is 132. That was the price I had to buy it at, was 119. So now I know I should have had to be at 132. Now I also find out who bought this property, and I find out what percentage they bought the property at. So, and the last thing I'm going to show is the rent in the area. So, for rent. Like I said, that's how I run my numbers. That's how I try to find deals, which I have not done yet. I think, which is kind of funny, I'm going to... Mad close. What I want to do is, I think after doing that on here, it helps me to see, like, I know what deals look like, and I try to force them, and that's what the problem. I keep getting into, like, bad situations. So, like I said, I'm going to try and work on it, because I can see the deals when I look at them. Everything is there. I just keep being like, nah, I've been doing this. I looked at 20 properties or 30 properties. I need to find a deal. It's been 3 months or 4 weeks or 5 weeks. Nothing's happening. So that's kind of my where I've been at right now. So I'm keep you guys updated for next week. See if I get something under contract. My goal this week is to submit a bunch. I don't know how many. A bunch of offers, but only at the prices that I know would work as a deal. So with that being said, I might do something else like this next week. Yeah, I'm trying to find a way to make it shorter because this was kind of long. But with that being said, I'm kind of tired and I'm hungry. Bamboo Project out.